What if you are in a car and a person is in the middle of the road? You would normally pause or swerve, something to avoid a collision. But what if you are unable to do so because you're no longer in control of your vehicle? Your vehicle is in control of the vehicle. The auto industry is encouraging society to morph into owning driverless cars or autonomous. With cars now being in the driver's seat, these cars will make decisions. With this technological field expanding as it is, we should not allow cars to be completely unmanned and autonomous. So, what is an autonomous car? Well, an autonomous car is mainly run on sensors, sensing from the environment, programming, algorithms, and sometimes GPS, depending on the maker of it. They advertise these vehicles as the savior to car accidents and traffic jams, etc., and much more. However, has anyone really thought to look in what's involved in this whole package of a fully autonomous vehicle? If we look at the laws, the government will have to make a decision. Who is going to sign off on the programming that's going to go into these vehicles? There are two types of programming available. There's utilitarian programming and passenger programming, according to Green. Utilitarian programming is where the car will judge whether or not who is to be less valuable in the situation. So if, say, you have 3 people outside and 2 people in the car will, at risk to its occupants, crash or avoid the 3 people because they are deemed more valuable. A passenger programming will look at the passenger as of value. The regulations will need to be changed. If a car gets into a crash, who's liable for the property damage and death? We have no legislation able to deal with this at this time. McBride made a point that with the vehicles being fully autonomous, humans are no longer considered humans in the car. They're considered objects. They're no longer, they're dehumanized. Next, we'll talk about logistics. The roads will all need to be mapped and sent into a database. The lights might need changing or completely do away with them. The intersections will have to be rearranged and organized in regard to having fully autonomous of different varieties of automakers, semi, and old school automatic. The infrastructure will have to change. All the roads and businesses and buildings and stuff on the side will need to be changed. They need to be smart roads. So the same technology that's in the car will be on the roads, thus allowing communication. And the smart grids will be connected to these smart roads and all the roads that have been mapped in order to provide the car with the latest updated information. McBride goes on to giving a pictorial view of this, that the car will communicate vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to infrastructure in order to be able to progress and go forward. The human has no element into this conversation. They just sit in the car. In addition, adaptations. The cars are not fully trained. They need to learn on the go. And the question is how much time it takes to make them to be a reliable vehicle for every person. For example, if there is a car going down the road and a plastic bag goes flying by and it's going to hit the car, does the car sensor freak out and say, oh, an object is coming? It's an object. It's going to hit us. It's going to collide. Mayday. Or is it going to say, oh, it's a plastic bag. It's okay. Keep going. No damage incurred. And everything is fine. How about the transitioning? there's going to be a mixture of cars on all the roadways. Will these cars work together? Are they going to have difficulty with having fully autonomous, semi-autonomous, and old school cars on the same roadway? And also, security. With these cars, in order to train them, they need to data glean the person that is driving them. This can cause security breaches and compromising your data. What organization will be able to limit how much your car is gleaning from you? And transparency, so that they're not lying to saying, oh, it's not data gleaning, but in reality it is. How about cybersecurity? If hackers get a hold of your car data, they could send you to another place that you don't want to go to. For instance, if you're trying to go to work, they can detour you and stall your car. Bugs. I'm sure everyone here had possible hiccups from the Windows 10 update. What happens if that problematic update happens to your car? Just a thought. And if all these things are all ironed out, all these problems and all these major expenditures are solved, there are alternatives to a fully autonomous car and changing our entire world to revolve around these driverless cars. What are they? Semi-automated cars. They allow you to be the driver, and driverless. Hendricks writes of a situation where they actually created one. A man was paralyzed, and so they created a car that he is able to drive. His head turns, it steers. He breathes through his breathing tube, it stops and goes. He uses his voice, and it shifts gears. And it seemed to do well. He got his driver's license, and he's able to drive. Other organizations are getting into what's called deep learning, where a car will learn the human and drive from the body language, the intention, your facial expressions, etc. These are not called fully autonomous cars. They are driver-assisted cars, or semis. In conclusion, as we look through the ethics, the logistics, the security issues, all the adaptation to our now modern roadways, we see that we need the alternative machines at this time. The fully autonomy cars are a distant future venture. There's so much that has to be changed in order to make the fully autonomous cars a reality. If we can transition to our semi, then it'll be easier to transition to the full much later on. In conclusion, vehicles should not be fully autonomous, but semi-autonomous, allowing the human to have a relationship with the vehicle. In this age, do you really want a vehicle to be making decisions for you?